Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, let's start our post-match press conference for the game Mexico against Sweden. We will basically start with man of the match. Player number 6 from Sweden, Ludvig Augustinsson. You will please have to direct 2-3 questions to him, and then after he will leave. And we will continue with the head coach of Sweden. Just as a reminder, the translation channels are English 1, Russian 2, Spanish 3, and Swedish 4. First question here.
Ludde, du är ju känd för att planera det mesta i din karriär.
You're known for planning most things in your career quite carefully. Was this part of your plans, scoring for the first time in the national team and sitting up here? I apologize, I have hardly any voice, I'm very coarse. This is something I've dreamed of, I've thought about it, and the insane thing is that I really had this feeling that I will score, that I would score at the World Cup. And just basically it has been a dream, a feeling I've had, and then I get to actually score in a match like this. It's a dream come true, it really is. But at the same time, I'm also so unbelievably proud of the team. The performance, we're sticking to our game plan 100%. We really deserve to progress.
Ludde, bortsett från ditt mål så får ni en straff som är väldigt
in addition to your goal, there's a penalty that really is decisive for you. What did you think at that point, and what did you think about Granqvist's way of taking that penalty? And which team would you like to meet in the final 16? It's just an amazing feeling in your whole body when you know that you can go to 2-0. We are very strong in the defense. We all work very hard on behalf of each other. All the 11 on the pitch and the entire bench, everyone's ready to come onto the pitch at any stage. And we know that it's very hard to score against us. So it was just an incredible feeling. And then what Granqvist did, it really shows his frame of mind, that he's able to go up there. It was almost a decisive match in the World Cup, and he just scores it the way he did. That's why he's our captain. He's able to do things of this caliber. He's so important to our team. And in the final 16, we haven't really had time to think very much about it. I think perhaps we didn't expect maybe to win the group, even though we did believe that we could qualify to the knockout stage. Brazil, for example, are looking very strong, so preferably we might want another team, but it really doesn't matter, however, because we've already shown that everything is possible. If it's Brazil, it'll be Brazil, and we will be 100% prepared.
Hi, a question in English, please. Your goal contributed to Germany going out, obviously, and you're playing in Germany. So could you maybe say how does that feel to you?
No, personally, I like the German team. It's a fantastic team, and they won the World Cup 4 years ago, and. Yeah, but this is football. A few days ago, we lost in the last minute, and we were very disappointed with that. But now we come back and we beat Mexico and we go through. So yeah, that's football. Of course, Germany, they also had the chance to win over South Korea. But if you don't do that, then it's difficult. So I think we deserve to win the group, and Mexico deserve to be second.
Thank you, Ludvig Augustinsson. Congratulations once again, man of the match for the day. And we'll continue the press conference with the head coach of Sweden, Jan Andersen. Mr. Augustinsson can leave for the doping control. You can have your trophy back. So now your questions are to be directed to the head coach of Sweden.
Janne, jag tittade ner mot svenska zonen när Granen skulle slå straffen. Vissa vågade inte titta, vissa tog med armarna. Du stod iskallt med armarna i kors. Men vad tänkte du när
you had your arms crossed and you just looked very coolly at the whole situation. What were your thoughts? What was going through your mind? Well, it's hard to describe really, but because he has been very, very certain and sure of how to do this. But I was thinking about the consequences of what would happen if he did score or if he didn't. I tried to be one step ahead head in my I forget sometimes to celebrate when we score. I just take the next step and move forward in my planning. I didn't think, so I didn't really pay much attention to the actual situation. You can never be sure of anything really 100% in sports, but I know he's very, very good at taking penalties, so I did think that there was a high likelihood he would score.
Amy Lawrence from The Guardian in England. Many congratulations. It's been a very emotional few days in your camp. Can you please describe how the mood is amongst yourself and your staff and your players right now, having gone through quite a lot in these last few days?
Jag förmodar att du syftar på det här med Jimmy Durmaz.
Well, I assume that you're thinking about the Jimmy Durmaz issue and the final events of the match against Germany. But we really work as a team, the players, the entire team, the technical officials. We want to do everything to give our players the chance to succeed on the pitch. We really just continued working, dealt with the things as they came up, and just continued having a game plan, doing the job. I'm so incredibly proud. I'm almost moved, I have to say. I'm so touched by the thought of how we performed during the entire match. They were so disciplined, they were so loyal in everything they did, our players out on the pitch. So I think we grew another little bit since Sunday or Saturday, whenever it was.
Janne, fråga härifrån.
Janne, a question from over here.
Det här laget spela 2 matcher mot Sydkorea och Tyskland
innan. You watched this team play 2 matches against Korea and Germany first. What weaknesses were you able to identify now? Because tactically you really are quite superior throughout the match. What are you doing that the other 2 teams were unable to do against Mexico? Well, I'm not going to sit here and gloat having won a match or boast about it, but the idea isn't really very different in how we played against Korea and Germany to what we did here. We have a basic approach. I've said this before from the very outset. Even if we have a little bit more time at our disposal with the players, we don't want to stir things up too much. We had an approach from the very outset, and that's what we're basing everything on still. And today, of course, was a very important component was to avoid counterattacks. We needed to have the balance within the team at any given moment. It was only really towards the end of the first half that we felt we lost some of the control. The second part, if you look at only 2 things, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. I have no interest in boasting, but the offensive play and the set pieces, we really could have scored at any point. Maybe we should have scored already in the first half on some of those. But it's our basic approach and our game plan that's the basis for everything we do.
Vad känner du kring
Janne, what's your thinking on, well, it's really about the whole team, I suppose, but Ola Toivonen and the hard work he put in, you get the impression that he's probably tired already towards the end of the first half. And what about the injuries to Barry and to Sebastian? Well, starting with the injuries, I'm not entirely sure. I think Sebastian is a little bit dizzy. He feels a little bit dizzy. He also got his second yellow card, so he's not available for the next match, but I hope that it's nothing more than, well, whatever it can be. I'm not quite sure. As for Barry, I'm not entirely sure if it was an injury to his thigh. I'm not sure, but he was walking quite well. But he received several fouls, took several blows in quite a short space of time. So I'm not entirely sure. Oh yes, and Ola Toivonen. You wondered about Ola Toivonen as well. You look surprised. Well, I'm not. I'm not surprised. I've praised Ola before. He is a player who really has as his best quality. Well, we used to think maybe his offensive touch and technical skills. But he really has a football smartness which is quite significant. There are many of our players who are smart and loyal in how they play. They stick to the game and the game plan. It wouldn't work otherwise, so I'm not surprised. That's what I'm asking of Ola. He's to deliver at this level always. Normally I might have changed him towards the end because I know that he took a beating, but he's matched himself into good shape after France, etc. I think he's getting close to his peak performance level. We'll have to raise the bar even further, but in any case, he's doing an excellent job. And we might have substituted him if we had had another substitution, but we didn't. But many
Congratulations,
of them do such a good job.
Peter Stebbings from the news agency AFP. I know that you were upset with the behaviour of some of the German backroom staff last weekend. What with them going out of the tournament today, does that give you any kind of extra satisfaction added to what you've already achieved today here as well? Thank you.
Aldrig i livet. Jag fungerar inte på det sättet. Man
never in a
spelar en
million
match
years.
efter
That is
matchen
not
tar
how I
man en
work.
hand
You
och sen ska
play
man lycka till
a
i
match,
nästa.
you shake
Så var
hands
det också
afterwards
här
and you
när
wish
jag pratar
everyone
med min
good luck for the next
tyske
one. And that
kollega
was
efter matchen.
what
Sån
occurred
är
when I
inte
spoke to
jag
my
och så tycker jag
German
inte man ska
colleague
vara inom
after the match. I'm
idrotten.
not
Man
like that.
spelar,
I don't
det
think
blir ett
it's right to
resultat
be
och sen
that
så
way in
behandlar
sports.
man
You
varandra
play the
respektfullt
match,
och
you
sen
have
går
the
man hem.
result,
Och
and then
antingen
you
jublar
treat
man
each
eller
other with
så
respect and you go
deppar man.
home,
Så att
either
jag har
cheering
absolut
or
inga känslor kring det
feeling sad.
överhuvudtaget.
There are no
Jag var förbannad
emotions
i
left
lördags, men
whatsoever.
det var
I was
då.
very
Nu är det nog.
angry. But that was then and now is now.
Janne, du har ju tidigt pratat om att för att ni ska lyckas så måste
Janne,
ni göra
you said in an early
personbästa. Och den här
stage that
matchen
if
är
you
väl om man
want to succeed, you need to
kombinerar
perform
anfall
at
och
your level of
defensivt det
your
bästa ni
personal
gör.
best. And surely both in the
Hur
offense
lyckades
and
ni
in
med det? Och
defense
det
you're
andra
doing
är,
at
hur länge
that
ska ni
very thing,
njuta av det här?
delivering
När
at
stänger
peak
ni det här och
performance.
börjar
How long are you
titta
going to be
framåt bara?
enjoying this for? When will you close the books
Nej,
and
vi kommer
start
stänga den
looking
här
into the
imorgon.
next match?
Och sen blir
Oh,
det
we're closing
precis
it
som
by
vi gjorde
tomorrow.
nu. Jag har
And
inte
then we're going
pratat
to
med
do
mitt
precisely what we
medicinska
did
team
before. Now I
och
haven't spoken
fysgänget
to my
där, men
medical
de får nog
team
vika
yet
sig för
and
min uppfattning den här gången. För vi
the
kommer att göra
rehab
på samma
people, but
sätt
I
som vi
think
gjorde
they'll
nu.
have
Det vill
to
säga spelarna får välja
accept my
lite.
call on this.
Med
We're going to
ambitionen
let
att
the
till
players
nästa
probably
match ska de vara
choose
så
a little
friska
bit,
som
pick and
möjligt.
choose
Vi
so that
tror
we
inte
have
att vi ska
everyone in as
träna
good a shape
sönder
as
dem nu
possible
och
for
att
the
vi
next
ska
match.
hitta
We
på massa
don't
nya
believe
grejer.
in
Utan det
having
gäller
training sessions so
att
that we're
mentalt återhämta sig,
taking
fysiskt
everything out
återhämta
of
sig.
them.
Och
We
det är väl
want
en
them
av
to
de
recover
grejerna som jag
mentally
tycker
and physically, and that's
så
one of the
roligt att vi
points
klarar av
actually
det så
that
bra som
I'm
vi
so
gör.
pleased to
Att vi är
see that we've
pigga
been
där
able
ute,
to
att vi är
cope with
klartänkta,
so
att vi klarar
well.
av att
We
liksom
have
följa matchplanen. Det har vi
energetic
lyckats med.
legs on
Med
the
den planen
pitch.
som vi
We're
började
sticking
snickra
to
på
our
redan i
game
mars
plan. We
faktiskt.
started
Genom att
working on
lyssna
that
på den
back in
samlingen med många av
March
spelarna
already
som har
by
varit med
listening
innan.
to
Och
what many of the
även
players
som jag
who were
beskrivit innan
involved
att
back
vi har
then
lyssnat
told
på
us, some had been involved
andra
before
experter
at this
inom SEK och
level.
SOK
We
som
also
har varit med
listened
kring
to
mästerskapet
other
och ta in den
experts
kunskapen som finns för
in
att göra det så bra som
major
möjligt.
tournaments and
Ändå
major
i samma
events,
riktning som
taking in
jag
expert
har jobbat
knowledge. But
innan.
we've
Så att
moved
jag är
constantly in the
jätteglad för
right
det. Och
direction, in the same
det är
direction
så
as before.
många i
I'm
det
very,
här
very pleased with all of
gänget. Det är jag
this.
som sitter här när vi
There's so
vinner eller
many in
förlorar, men det är
this
så många som jobbar
group.
ett
I'm
jäkla
sitting
bra
here
jobb
when we
runt
win or
spelarna
lose,
som
but there
skapar
is a very
förutsättningar
large
för
number
att
of
de ska
people
kunna
working
prestera så
very
bra som det
hard,
överhuvudtaget
creating the
är möjligt. Så
preconditions
att
for the players to
hela
perform
gänget
at their
runt omkring
absolute
förtjänar en
peak
stor
level.
eloge. Och jag
So
är,
the entire
om vi
team
pratar
around the
personbästa så
players
måste jag säga
around
att
the team
för
deserve
mig är det inte, jag tar sällan
all the
överord, men jag
credit
anser att
as
vi gör en
well. I
fantastiskt bra match
rarely
idag.
use too
Det måste jag
strong
säga,
a word,
om
but
man
I
ser
have
det
to
hela.
say that we've done a fantastic job today with this match.
Yeah.
It was quite an unusual atmosphere towards the end because it wasn't just what was going on here, but also what was going on in Kazan in the other match. Were you aware of what was happening between Germany and South Korea, even though it didn't affect you? And did you have some empathy for the coach of Mexico and what he was experiencing in those last minutes?
Ja, i efterhand så kan jag förstå vad han upplevde för något, men
Afterwards
under
I
matchen hade jag
can
ingen tanke på det
understand
här, utan vi var
what he was
fullt
going
fokuserade
through,
på
but I
vår
didn't
match.
think about that during
Hade
the
det varit
match.
ett
We
annat
had
resultat
all
hos
our
oss
focus
som
on the
hade
match.
haft en
If it had been a
betydelse i
different
förhållande till
result in our
resultatet
match,
i den
which in
matchen,
some
då
way
hade jag
had
blivit
impacted
informerad
the
om. Men nu vill
result,
jag
where
inte
we
ha
had been impacted by the
information.
result in
Nu
the
var det
other
viktiga
match, I would have been
genomföra vår match
informed.
på ett
In
bra
this case, I
sätt.
didn't
Så
want
att,
the information. The
det
important
är väl
point was
svaret.
how we performed out on the pitch, and that's probably an answer to that question.
Okay, would like to thank once again Jan Andersson, head coach of Sweden. Congratulations and good luck for the round of 16. Next press conference to follow is the press conference of head coach of Mexico.
is your question? Ask for a mic. Yes, please. First row, please. And wait for the translation. Thank you.
Good evening, Coach. Congratulations for qualification. Amy Lawrence from The Guardian. Could you describe your emotions in the last few minutes of that match?
In English or in Spanish? En español?
Como quiera. Siente más cómodo.
No, you tell me.
If you want us to answer in English.
First of all, I have to say that we qualify because we beat Germany and Korea. However, and nevertheless, I am very hurt. I think that for the first time in many, many games, when we played against a team that played that idea of football, direct football, we usually play with 3 in the back, plus an anchor man that is very good in the air. Basically, we defend with 4. Today, for the first time, I decided to play with 4, but not on that structure. And at the end, we didn't succeed in our penetration in the last third. That's number one factor why we didn't score. And second of all, we allow them to score 3 goals, which I think is too many. And right now, I think that more so that my feelings in the last 3 minutes was my feelings in general. I wasn't too happy the way we defend, and that was a learning experience for me.
Por favor.
Sí, Juan Carlos, John Sutcliffe, ¿qué se aprende del partido de hoy para el que sigue? ¿Qué puntos sacarás aquí para que no vuelva a suceder?
Cada partido tiene sus propias historias. Eso de que nunca volvió a suceder, eso es imposible contestarlo. Lo único que tengo para decir, como le dije a su colega, es normalmente cuando jugamos contra un equipo que juega esa idea de fútbol tan directa, lo hemos hecho con 3 defensores centrales, dominantes en el fútbol aéreo y un medio centro que los protege por delante. Hoy, por primera vez, en muchos juegos, y uniéndome o pecando de purista en aquellos que creen que siempre hay que imponer la idea de juego, más allá de cómo juega el rival, y pensando en los dos muy buenos juegos anteriores, decidimos por primera vez repetir el mismo equipo y jugar con la estructura que nos ha dado tan buenos resultados. Y creo que la gran lección para mí queda que debe haber un punto intermedio donde protejamos mejor al equipo en el fútbol aéreo y no renunciemos tanto a nuestra idea de juego. Era muy difícil lograrlo hoy, repito, por la euforia y por lo que aconteció en los 2 juegos anteriores, pero es una práctica que normalmente hacemos. Entonces clasificamos porque se le ganaron a 2 grandes rivales, a Alemania y a Corea, pero el partido como hoy me da una gran lección, sigo aprendiendo y creo que salvo Uruguay, esa es una debilidad del fútbol suramericano, centroamericano, latinoamericano, y nosotros no somos la diferencia.
This is one of the weaknesses that Latin American football has. Only Uruguay is
Profesor,
excluded.
aquí, Adrián Rodríguez Zuber, de la agencia EFE. En primer lugar, felicidades por la clasificación. Me imagino que de alguna manera es con cierto sabor agridulce y quiero saber si ahora el mayor trabajo tiene que ser desde el punto de vista psicológico o si también toman esto como una gran oportunidad de que más vale perder este partido que el siguiente.
Tampoco estoy de acuerdo con esa opinión, porque cada juego tiene una historia diferente. Cualquier rival que nos corresponda para el próximo partido no va a jugar como juega Suecia. Entonces me parece que es muy relativo. Creo que el juego de hoy, un rival tan fuerte en el fútbol aéreo que repliega con tantos efectivos, nos enseñó y nos pone cada vez a pensar más cuando enfrentemos esa idea de juego. Ahora la posibilidad de enfrentar a uno de nuestros 3 próximos rivales, yo creo que es totalmente diferente al fútbol de hoy.
Mr. Osorio, what do you think? I'm from Sweden, so what do you think about the Swedish performance today? Did they surprise you in any way, and do you think they have the capacity to go further on in the tournament?
No, it didn't surprise me at all. In fact, I think that that's probably one of your strongest points, that you are, you identify with one idea of playing football, very respectable, and believe me, I deeply respect that way of playing. I don't agree with it because they never play from the back. Everything is from the goalkeeper into the attackers, but that's the way you feel that that's the way football should be played, and that's very respectable. And if you continue doing so, I think that you have a great chance. You get very good results so far, and I think it's quite amazing to realize that you can play in the same manner every game and compete and beat teams that played in a different way like we did.
Adelante, por favor, en medio. Sí.
Mr. Osorio, was there any Swedish player in particular that we were impressed with? Because as the game went further, the Swedish team were more and more grew in confidence and started attacking you. Was there any player in particular that we were impressed with?
No, I don't think so. I think that, again, if you guys have something very strong about it, it's a collective effort. Everybody competes good in the air. Everybody's 180, 190, and you compete with what you have, and I think you do very well. But as far as playing talented football, I don't think so.
Profesor Osorio, el partido comenzó, bueno, o ha sido también psicológicamente muy demandante. El hecho de llegar a esta circunstancia con 6 puntos, no estar calificados, arrancar con una tarjeta al minuto 15, el juego físico de repente de los suecos pareció que mentalmente también los jugadores parecían agotados. Al final ver a Edson en lágrimas, de repente era anímicamente cómo afecta o cómo puede afectar este resultado al equipo de cara a los siguientes partidos.
Si me permite, lo invito a que vea la primera falta. Antes de un minuto ya había una tarjeta amarilla, no al minuto 15. Pensé que al minuto 15, perfecto. Al segundo 15. Yo creo que eso fue para mí devastador. Porque si hay alguien honesto y genuino y honrado para competir es Jesús, y creo que era innecesario. A partir de ahí yo creo que lo limitan a él. Y en cuanto a Edson, a mí me parece que hoy una de las formas de penetración era interiorizar a Edson y a Jesús, y creo que Edson en el primer tiempo hizo una jugada magistral en la que eludió 4 o 5 rivales, pero pedirle a un muchacho de 20 años en su primer mundial que la haga 10 veces yo creo que es demasiado y fue mi culpa. Pero valoro enormemente la madurez que ha mostrado Edson, la madurez de Jesús, y seguramente que, como yo, aprenderemos mucho del juego de hoy. Estoy de acuerdo con usted en que ha sido agobiante llegar a este partido con 6 puntos y no estar clasificado. Y cada uno, por mucho que trabajemos en la parte mental, vive y siente esa presión de una manera diferente. Sin embargo, creo que el equipo el primer tiempo la absorbió y la gestionó muy bien. Para el segundo tiempo, y sin mucho que perder y todo por ganar, yo creo que ellos tienen la opción de abrir el marcador en su bien notada manera de jugar, y a partir de ahí se hace muy difícil el partido.
Yes. Up front, please.
Peter Stebbings from the news agency AFP. Would you rather lose a football match playing nice football, or would you prefer to win it playing what you think is not so great football?
What a fantastic question. Very good. Let me think. Today and after qualifying, I would rather lose it the way we lost. If we wouldn't have qualified, then I would probably accept that from my part. I think it was too much, and it's always the case. As I said to one of your colleagues before, today my sin was to be a purist, thinking that with idea of playing football, we can compete and beat a team that play the same type of football every weekend. And it showed me and it taught me a lot of lessons, and hopefully one day I will get it right. That we play good football and we can beat teams that play that way.
¿Qué tal, profe? Raúl Caro, de Televisa Deportes.
Una pregunta, ¿dónde quedó la capacidad de reacción del equipo? Y la segunda, ¿volverá Juan Carlos Osorio a las bases donde busca el punto intermedio, analizando las necesidades del equipo contra el rival que enfrenta?
Como siempre volveremos a revisar el partido, escribiremos lo correspondiente, lo compartiremos con los jugadores. Creo que va a quedar muy poco tiempo de lamentarnos. Ahora lo más importante es ver el próximo rival que nos corresponde, que repito, seguramente es un rival muy diferente a como juega Suecia, pero este partido y esta manera de competir contra este tipo de juego en particular, creo que, como siempre, me ha dejado muchas lecciones.
Any other question, please? No more question? Then thanks a lot, Profe, and
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
all the best for the rest of the competition.
Okay.